for us, when you travel back home and no sooner get home, you got checks sitting in the mail already, you're going, wow, this is what we need to be doing. So that's, yeah, it fires you up. And then it's like, let's get more.
Welcome back to another episode of Success Chronicles. Today we sit down with Gary and Merle, and I'm so excited for you to listen. When we first set this call up, I had no idea what time zone they were gonna be in, but they woke up early to join me. And I remember the first time I heard the beginnings of their story. They sent in a video of their very first redemption. We're gonna splice it in later into this conversation. But if you're worried about, can I do this from where I live? This episode is for you. Well, Gary and Merle, thank you so much for joining us today. I've been waiting for this conversation for a long time, actually, as we have been talking about Success Chronicles, your story, and some of the background that I know about you. I'm so excited to share with everybody. I'm in Kansas City. Tell everybody where you're at right now.
We are in American Samoa.
American Samoa. So it's about 12:30 in the afternoon, my time. What time is it in America Samoa right now?
6:30 in the morning. We just woke up and having our coffee.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for waking up early for us to be able to do this together. Much appreciated. It answers one of the biggest questions that I think new investors have. It's so fascinating to me to read through comments on other videos and Instagram posts and take any other social media. The comment that I always want to jump out of my seat and scream about is, you can't do this here, or they don't sell tax liens in my state, but I don't like my state, I don't like to invest where I live, etc., etc. You guys you're in America Samoa. I know you've spent some time in Saipan or Guam as well.
We actually live in Saipan.
Yeah.
Now Saipan is across the date line. So right now in Saipan, when we're doing stuff with you at 12:30, if we'd be doing something with you at 12:30 in the afternoon, your time, it is actually 3:30 in the morning tomorrow.
In Saipan.
In Saipan.
Yeah. So
so it's a little bit of a challenge, but
Yeah.
So for those of us that have never been to Saipan, Saipan is almost to Japan, Philippines, Korea. It's almost all the way over to Asia. Is that right?
Yes.
Uh-huh. So, but we're closer to Guam.
You're closer to Guam. Saipan is, right?
Most people know Guam, so.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys are investing from so far away into tax liens in the United States. What has that experience been like? Take me through what it feels like to invest from Saipan or America Samoa into tax liens in Florida.
Okay, so as you know, Florida's on the Eastern time zone for you. So we have spent some early mornings, as in midnight, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
When we're trying to work with stuff in Florida. And that's also we're trying to work with the county. You have to get up early in order to talk to somebody in any of the counties, that type of deal. We also do investing or working on this when we're in the Philippines. That puts us 2 hours further behind.
Yeah.
So anytime we're over out here in the Pacific anywhere, it's a challenge to work with folks on the mainland. It is.
Yeah.
It's a challenge.
So why do you do it?
Well, so far what we've been doing, we did a lot of the over the counter. Luckily, when we did the primary auction, we were there. We went to Expo in Kansas City. So we had some other obligations that we did in May and in June in the States. So that really, that helped us out this year. Other than that, then what we do is we pick days that we get up early in the morning. Merle has actually, been up early in the morning a lot of times bidding on auctions. So whenever you're doing the auctions, the deed auctions, then you're spending through the night doing bidding, research, any
Research-wise, I can do it during the day on my own time. But then the bidding, you have to be there. Or I bid and then just leave it. And if I want to watch it, I stay awake. Yeah. Otherwise, this is my max bid. So like, if I get it, I get it. If it's not,
Yeah.
I sleep.
So to the person that lives in the United States and they have the question of, can I do this from where I live? Or I'm in California or Washington and they don't do tax liens here. I still want to invest. What would you say to that person that lives in a state that doesn't do tax liens based on your experience?
Do it. I mean, there's no excuse. It's the whole process is so easy, and with technology these days, you just get it accomplished. It's easy to, like Merle said, you do the research on the off times.
Yeah.
And then, if you want to watch the auctions or, participate live, then you just have to, move your schedule around. And in the States, there's only 4 hours difference between one side or the other, right? So it's really should not be that hard anywhere in the mainland whatsoever.
Sure.
I say that. We make anything hard, but if you're in the States, you can invest anywhere. You don't have to be there to do it.
Yeah, Gary got used to like, what's the time? What is our time, Eastern time? Like, I still, couldn't, I have to Google it. What time is it there? But he can figure it out.
Okay, so let's take a step back now. I'm curious about how you guys met and how did you end up in Saipan?
Okay, go ahead.
Well, I've been in Saipan for a while. I was there since 91.
Okay.
I worked there, got married, had 4 kids, and got divorced. And he came along in 2017 where we met at church.
What were you doing in Saipan, Gary?
I came there for work. So I work with utilities, water and wastewater utilities. And so I basically went there for a job to work for the public utility.
Yeah.
I had been working out there off and on since 2010.
Okay.
But wound up moving there from Hawaii. At that point, I was living in Hawaii for a while.
Yeah.
And moved there in 2017.
So you've been together for a little while then. When did you decide that you wanted to add why did you decide to buy tax liens?
It was all him. I have my own business. I'm kind of like,
Yeah.
how are we going to do this?
Yeah. So we've got, like she said, she had a business. I have a business. I have a training business in water and wastewater. So totally on the other end. But we'll go way back, Brian. We'll go way back to 1990. How's that? In Alabama. And there was a gentleman when my ex-wife and I were trying to find a house back then. We were young.
Yeah.
And the gentleman that was a real estate agent, nice older gentleman, he talked about tax liens way back then. He was going on the courthouse stairs and buying them, and he was telling me about all these properties that he's bought and how he's flipping them. So that's what he was doing. I remember that conversation, and he told me you need to get in there. He said, he was probably in his late 60s, and he said, if I was your age, I'd have done this a long time ago.
How old were you?
At that point, I would have been 22.
Okay.
So I remember that. Never got into it, but he had some good wisdom there, words of wisdom, I should say. And then in 2021, 2022, I saw your infomercial on YouTube.
Okay.
And I'm like, hey, this guy's talking about the same thing that Gerald was talking about, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And if it's 30 years later and they're still talking about tax liens, there's got to be something to this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? So, so you folks happen to be coming to Saipan. I don't know how you picked Saipan, but you couldn't have got further away if you tried.
That's
other
true.
than going to Japan, probably.
Yeah, I guess it was your first training in Guam. So somebody went to Saipan,
Yeah.
but introduce it, but then the training will be in Guam, so we have to fly to Guam.
Yeah.
So, but that didn't work on our schedule. We signed up, but that did not work on our schedule to go to Guam because we're going to my daughter's wedding.
Yeah.
So I said, can we just skip it? So if we're in the States or,
Yeah.
we'll work on, oh yeah, we have in different states. We'll keep you up to date and on our schedule.
Yeah.
But then it took one more year before we were able to find a schedule.
Yeah. Okay, so that was in 2022. Is that what you said?
Right.
I think that was the first time that we went over there. We go to Guam about once a year. So, I mean, it was a 33-year cycle for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So for those that are 22 years old, what would your life have been like right now if you would have started in 1990 instead of... Now, it's always easy to look in hindsight, right?
Right.
But if you would have listened at 22 years old to Gerald and bought tax liens and started this in 1990, what would your life be like right now, do you think?
I can say I wouldn't have went through all the heartaches and headaches that I went through, working.
Yeah.
Having, I have 4 children as well.
Yeah.
And we started at a young age. So it was working around the clock. So I spent years and years just beating the hustle, doing anything and everything. No, I mean, I had a major job, but I mean, you had to have side jobs.
Yeah.
Because that's just how you raise a family the way that I was living. So if I'd have done that, and if I could give anybody, we tell our kids now, and we have them from 23 to 40 years old, that they're spanned across there.
Yeah.
And, we tell them, man, you really take a little money and start investing in this. You can't count on the stock market, these types of things. When I'm saying that is like 401ks and that you can't count on, just busting your tail. So because that's going to wear you out. All that's going to do is make you old. You need to find a smart way, like you say,
Yeah.
for money to be working for you.
Yeah.
I mean, it has plenty of time and it doesn't get wore out. So let it work for you. And it would have been great. Now, there's things I wouldn't change because, there's Merle and I together now, but that's down that rough road, right?
Yeah.
So, but I've
Not
been
too late to
way
start.
ahead.
If you're in your 20s and watching this right now, Gary says buy tax liens at 22 years old.
Right.
So my oldest son, he's 19. His name is Braden. He started buying a year ago. He started buying his first tax liens a year ago. So I'm pushing my kids to do it. Have any of your kids caught the fire yet? So you have 8 of them then between the 2 of you, right?
Yeah, 8.
Have any of them caught the fire yet?
Not yet. They're all college, mine are like, most of them are college graduate. They're kind of like, oh, Mom, I think that's a scam, something like that. So no one is really, sold to it yet. So,
Yeah.
like my daughter called yesterday. So, what did you do? Oh, I just looking at, surfing the internet.
Yeah.
As I always do, just checking what's there. Just found out our TDA got redeemed yesterday.
Yeah.
Right.
Yesterday.
Yeah.
So
several of
just
them.
like, oh, I'm like, well, so she's kind of like,
They're
she's
listening.
just listening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see how it works for you first.
That's funny. I think, and I might dig myself into a little bit of a hole here, but I think it was you two that sent in a video at the end of last year about your first redemption check. Was that you two?
Right.
Yeah.
That there's this video that's vivid in my head of you getting and opening up your like you went down to the post office or your UPS box or your PO box, and you get back in the car and you're opening up your very first redemption check. That was you two, is that right?
Correct.
We're gonna splice that video in right here.
Okay.
Like for me, it was such a cool thing. That was the first time I remember seeing somebody from Guam. Now we have students in Japan actually that are doing it as well, and that's so exciting. I don't know if you met Robert, but
Yeah.
Yes,
that was
we did.
first time that I've like, oh my goodness, this is somebody from on the other side of the Pacific Ocean that got a redemption check. What did that very first, when they mailed you a redemption check all the way to Saipan, what did that feel like?
Well, So after we got done with the foundation class, that we was in the States. We was in Nashville, of course. We had to take those classes in Tennessee while we were over there. And
that
so
was back August last year.
Yeah, August last year in September. And then we purchased and there we purchased somewhere around 50 tax liens.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, if we're going to do this, let's do this. I mean, and let's throw it in there. So within 2 weeks, actually, we were in the States, and within 2 weeks, so many of them had redeemed. And that's what you're seeing in the video. But we get back to Saipan in the meantime, and the mail is slow coming out there. So I think that was I'm pretty sure that was in 1st of October, middle of October.
Yeah.
We got our first checks. And now, yeah, the checks weren't very much, but they were more than we had 5 minutes before that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was like, wow, you know, it paid off, you know, that fast. It hasn't even been a month since we bought these.
Yeah, when we got the mail, it's like, you know, the date was like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh. So if we count back, I was like, oh, it was redeemed just 2 weeks after we
bought it.
We got it from in the States. So, because it's already, you know, it was after a month.
Yeah.
Yeah, physical checks. So she opened you know, first of all, we got them and it's like, what is this? Right? And then tear them open.
We have it. Because here in Saipan, we don't have mailbox that, you know.
That comes to your house.
That comes to your house. You have to go to post office. No. So when we got that, like, oh, this is uncommon envelope.
Yeah, like.
So you have the video of her opening
opening
the envelopes.
Yeah. So like I've got, just from the last couple of days, I've got 3 of them sitting like on my desk. It's fun to get them. Like I love it. They just usually ACH them, but I don't know. It's still kind of fun to get checks that are just on my. Anyways, that's fun. Now you said like your kids like, Mom, Dad's a scam. You've obviously seen it. What do you think makes that generation like not excited, or why do you think it's so hard to get? And why didn't you invest when you were 20? Why is it so hard at that time in our lives to invest and start buying or investing and thinking about that already?
Yeah, right. So like when we were at Expo, your son Brandon was there, remember buying at Primary. I remember that. And then also there was another young gentleman that was about 19 years old that was in that Expo class. And I was impressed by these young guys because I'm like, now these guys, you know, they're getting their heads on straight, you know, and they'll be doing well. Unfortunately, I think that just my opinion is that the younger generations, they just don't have I guess a value for money. I don't know how to explain that, but I don't think that money means to them what maybe it meant to some of the other generations. Like I said, that's why we worked hard. We would do several jobs at a time or whatever, because it's like, hey, this doesn't grow on trees, and you have to go out and get this. And I just kind of think, and I might be using the wrong terminology, but they just don't have the value for it. And I don't know. I think we got a lot of brainwashing going on out there that they just, you know, they think life's going to be great and you're not going to have to pay for it and that type of stuff, because our generation unfortunately tried to pamper a lot of them. I can blame that on me. We tried to pamper, shield our kids, right? So we can blame that on us as well. But that kind of seems like what it is. And also, once they get enough time under their belt, you know, and get kids and such, like my kids are older and have children. Merle only has one that has children. And, you know, they start realizing, wow, this is tough, you know? So,
every penny counts.
Yeah, every penny counts. You have to have 2 jobs. So why not take, you know, what you work hard for? That's my thought process. And in like you say all the time, let your money work for you. And now we've got a third person, well, a third being that's working in the family. Hopefully that turns into, you know, one of the ones that's making more money than the 2 that are out there physically working all the time, right?
Yeah.
Also part of it also, you know, in this age, also there's a lot of scam and everything that they hear, because they're always in computer. They hear it, and you know, if they have money, I'm sure some of them, they're kind of like, oh, I got to make sure that it's,
Yeah.
I'm putting it in the right, there's a fear of a lot of it, I believe will be coming out of fear as well. So that's why they're like, let me see how it works for you first.
Yeah. Interesting points. I tell my kids all the time, well, often that, hey, like, your generation is caused by my generation,
Yeah.
right? Like, we're the ones raising you and teaching you principles. And so if you're coming out of as you're growing up, that weakness is caused by me and my generation. Like, we have to be responsible for the way that we're raising our kids. And so if our kids are coming up and and the value of money is not taught to them, like, the system is not going to teach them the value of money. The system is not going to teach them how to invest. And there's a lot of households that rely on the school system or the government to try to just teach money, and it just doesn't happen.
Right.
And so if our kids are growing up not knowing how to invest, like, ultimately, as a parent, I feel that weight is my responsibility to teach my kids.
Correct.
But so it's interesting because I've told my kids that forever, and you're saying the same thing, right? Like, we're the cause of them, or they're the cause of us.
Correct.
But they're worried, aren't they? Right? Like, they're worried about all the scams. There's so many things that you hear online that are fake and that are just going to steal your money. You hear it all the time. Like, you turn on the news and this person lost money. And one of the I won't say the famous examples, but it comes up often, is about buying tax liens. Specifically, like, tax liens are not a guaranteed return. If you do it wrong, there's this story of this guy in Florida that thought he was buying a tax lien on a residential house, and he ended up buying like a 2-foot stretch of driveway.
I've seen that.
Yeah, right. It's all over. It makes the rounds over and over and over. So how did you mitigate that fear? Because, I mean, you see the same things our kids see, that there's all these scams and everything's fake and everybody wants to steal your money. And, I mean, you might buy a 2-foot sidewalk or driveway instead of a real tax lien.
Well, that's true. That's why you have to do your research. That now, that's you have to pay attention. So there is still work that has to go into this. Like you say, you have to do your due diligence. You can't just, hey man, this looks like a great deal. I mean, you can go on there right now with over the counters, and when you look at them, yeah, hey, is it land? It's land, but it's not a good land to get in a hold of, because you could be stuck with it. And then what are you going to do with it? We have a property in Florida that we got through TDA, or through the deed auction, I should say. And once we're learning some things. We thought we did our due diligence, but then there's some extra things. And I know that the teachers like Ben and Nate from the past classes, they told us these things as well. Is that all of a sudden you learn about, wow, there's some turtles out there that might affect your land. There's some owls out there. There's stuff like this that you're not going to find that research just on the auction, or in a lot of the sites, PropStream and stuff that we use. That's stuff that you're going to have to do some more research, as in, what are some of the environmental issues, or what are some of the other issues that you better be paying attention to or ready to handle when you get that property.
All this stuff that is overwhelming to begin with all the study. I was like, if you go there and just do your auction, and not auction, like buying tax lien, I'm like, if you don't know what you're doing, you'll be clueless. It's scary.
Yeah.
So all the stuff that I've learned from the foundation on how to do this, it helped give you confidence.
Yeah.
Not at first, you kind of like your first try. I'm like, I hope I'm doing this right.
Yeah.
It's nerve-wracking, but once you got it, I was like, oh, it's not bad. Once you know where to go and where to find stuff, I'm like, oh, I can do this.
Interesting. I love this confidence conversation, because what actually enabled your confidence to grow? Like, what made you more confident?
The knowledge that I gained through the training.
Yeah.
Know where to go. And because, like, I've never been to this business before. Ask me about the other business that I've been to. I'll be confident to answer that. But this one is like, it's very new. It's like somebody has to guide me on this.
Yeah.
I don't want to press the button, click enter without really and pursue, getting that land if I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So somebody going through that with me
Yeah.
gave me confidence.
What happened to your confidence, though, after you bought your first lien? I guess after you bought your 50, because you jumped in you were pretty confident, I would say. But what happened once you got that first lien and then it redeemed? Like, tell me the trajectory of your confidence level then.
Well, yeah. As you saw in the video, once that happened, it was like, hey, this works. There you go. I mean, that just solidifies it that this does work. I have to say that I'm going to put out there that I appreciate your program, because if we jump back 33 years, when Gerald was telling me invest in this, he wasn't telling me this is how you do it. He just said you need to go do this. Well, where do you start? I don't even know where you start. I don't even understand what a tax lien is. Remember, this is before internet. Well, before Gary knew anything about any internet or anything. So where do you do research? Where do you even go find these? So 33 years ago, not that that's an excuse, it's just, where do you start?
Right.
So with the tax lien, where you guys have the classes, and then you have the instructors, like I said, when we went to foundation class, and Nate, we get to hop on the computer right then and there.
Yeah.
And you get to see where you go find them, what you're looking for. And then in class, you got the opportunity to buy them, and just to have that person that's already been there, done that, as the instructor has, and he's helping you. He's giving you that little boost on the back, saying go for it, and that looks good. So, you buy them, and then when you get home, for us, when you travel back home, and no sooner get home, you got checks sitting in the mail already. You're going, wow, this is what we need to be doing. So that's, it fires you up, and then it's like, let's get more. Let's what's the next step? So if tax liens work good, what about flipping? What about buying tax deeds? What about turnkeys, all wholesaling, all this? So we're right at the moment, we're trying to figure where we're going to land. Yeah, maybe. But tax liens will be that thing that's sitting there making you some money. I'm using myself when Ben brought up the deal of use your retirement money. You could use your retirement monies. Well, see, mine got cut in half through my divorce. So it's like, I got to build that back up. I'm not getting any younger. And when he said, hey, you could use your retirement money and build this up, I'm like, this is great, because as you know, putting it in like some 401ks or just putting it in Roth IRA, stuff like that, it only grows so fast. Yeah. It's like a snail. But I mean, when you can do this and you can start jumping it up there, you have more command over it. I mean, that really helps. So we've been using that to buy the liens, and that'll be there to build the retirement up. Okay. And then we bought our first turnkey. It's being rented. It's supposed to be rented out, or they move in the 1st of September.
Month.
Yeah, we closed it still August, beginning of this month. That's how fast things are working. Yeah. So we closed on that at the beginning of the month. It's going to be rented here the 1st of September already. And so we're looking at the next one of those. We've looked at the fix and flicks when we went to
Summit.
Summit, and went around and looked at that, got a better idea for how that works. The wholesaling also, it would be easier if you were on within the same day. Yeah. So when we're paying on a different day, it would be easier if you were at least on the same day.
I'm sure that we lost somebody somewhere when you started talking about using your retirement account to buy tax liens. I guarantee somebody was thinking, wait, hold on. What did he just say? He said he's buying tax liens in his retirement account, because most people don't know that you can do that. Most people think that you have to give your money to a financial planner or through your company, and invest, and they're going to put it in stocks and mutual funds and CDs and annuities and all the normal things. But then you just dropped a huge bomb and said, hey, by the way, we are using we are buying tax liens now and rental properties potentially in our retirement account. Right. And somebody was like, wait, what did he just say? Right.
So you self-directed IRA. So Ben had brought that up when we were doing his class. And, when he said that, and he said, hey, you can do, and he was convincing. So I'll give him a pat on the back. He had a big smile and said, you can do this. And I went, really? And that means you can build up. Because like I say, mine got cut in half. So I'm looking at, if we go by the federal standards here, I'm looking at, I'm going to retire in 12 years. I don't want to go that far. Okay. But we'll say retirement age is 67. All right. Yep. And wait a minute. I'm 56, so 11 years.
11 years.
So anyway, so you see how fast I got to build it up.
Yeah.
I mean, when it gets cut in half, you're going to have to build it up fast. So it's like, okay, so how do we do that? Well, when you have money in a Roth IRA, as you guys know, it's only going to grow so fast. So we left there, and I mean, within the month, because we were still in the States, we set it up. I pulled everything out, and I swapped it over to a self-directed IRA, and then so that we could use that money for tax liens, and so mostly for tax liens. But if we buy property with it, we've got the money there to do that as well.
But the thing is, for me, it's like, it's a good idea, but how do you do it?
Right.
So having the help there, kind of like, if you want to do that, see this person. You have the person over there, kind of like, if you, and then like, well, how do you set up, in Saipan, I know how to start your company and everything. I don't know in America. So kind of like, ATG, start your business, and, are they going to do the EIN too? I have a lot of questions and stuff like that. Oh, they're setting up it for me. I'm like, I don't have to do the research. They're just going to do it for me. I'm like, let's go for it.
So it's a big difference from Gerald telling you in 1990 you should buy tax liens to having Ben say, this is how you're going to buy a tax lien. Nate saying, this is what you're going to do, and this is how you're going to set up your retirement account. Mines are popping all over the place. What interest rate, the over-the-counters that you're buying now in your retirement account, the rate of return on over-the-counter liens is what?
So it's 18%. So we're doing Florida, right? Yeah. But also Nate taught us how if you go in there to buy a tax lien, if they have several certificates, right, that are backed up on them, why don't you buy all of them and then you get that 5%? So that's how we got so many. It was like, if I'm buying one on this property, I'm buying all of them on this property. Yeah. And then that was like I said, a year ago. And so in May, we filed the April, the tax deed application on, I think it was like six of those properties, and Merle, she was watching it yesterday. They went on auction yesterday, and so they all sold, right? So you're getting back to 18% plus the 5%. So where am I going to pick up, right? Where am I going to pick up 23% interest in a Roth IRA? It's not going to happen.
All of a sudden, everybody's losing their mind right now, and I'm sure we're going to get a million questions about this, which is fantastic because it's why we're here. Okay, so closing, I'll say arguments even. Give me your final advice to somebody that is just like, give yourself advice from when you were 22, when you were 5 years ago, 10 years ago, whatever it is. Knowing, like, it's been about a year, I guess, right, since you really dove into this. You've bought, I don't know, how many tax liens have you bought now?
Oh,
80 something.
No, yeah.
Tax liens?
80 something.
You bought a tax deed. You bought your first rental property. I mean, you've done a lot in your first year. Give advice to that person that is just sitting there thinking, should I be doing this?
Yeah, so do it. And I really highly recommend going through TLC, not because we're talking to you, but because you have several trainings on there. and that helps. You watch the training, you rewatch the training, okay? And some of us, it's slow, but what are you doing at nighttime? Instead, turn on the TV, turn on your computer, watch the trainings.
Yeah.
And that builds up confidence in you, and you're watching it step by step, and we also do the deal labs every month as well. We're watching all this, we're listening to, and if everybody's talking the same thing, there's got to be something to this. So do it and take that first step. And you don't have to have, $1 million sitting in the bank, 500,000 or 200,000 or even 100,000 sitting in the bank. Just use what you have and start building it. And no better time to start doing it than now, because A, you're not getting any younger, and B, your money's not going to be growing like it has with this program or will with this program. And I know we was just watching another one of your trainings last night, or your webinars last night, Brian. And, like you said, folks have been doing this for hundreds of years. Mm-hmm. And it can't still be around if it didn't work, right? So do the things that are we'll say the sure bet.
I love that.
Do the sure bet, okay? Yeah. And will there be some hiccups? There's going to be some hiccups, but that's called life. But one thing about it is you learn from that hiccup. Next time, you now have a lot more wisdom on the next one that you buy. You're doing a little bit more research, and also we part of Discovery, so we're watching the posts that come across Discovery. We're watching what everybody else is doing or saying and putting out there. You've got a big community of folks that'll help you. Yeah. It's nowhere near as scary as it was 33 years ago, like you're saying. Nowhere near. That's scary.
Through TLC, you have all the tools. You just, the instructors and everybody, and we just appreciate that, because that really builds, took the fear away. It does not take it all away right away, but it's, slowly you gain your confidence, and they're there to guide you. And when you have hiccups, like what he's saying, you just have to reread and get help and go through it again. And it was really hard to overcome that fear to begin with. But when you get through that, I was like, and you're still gonna have to stumble every now and then, but you'll learn from that experience and go move forward again.
Well, I can't wait to see what the next year is for you two. Get those kids involved. It's just amazing. When we started Text and Code, I thought it was gonna be the small little thing. It's so cool to see it now expanding across the Pacific, now into other countries, and people jumping in and investing. And that video you guys sent in a year ago of you opening your first, that'll forever be burned into my memory now. So thank you too. Thanks for spending some time with me today.
Yes.
Best of luck, and hopefully when you come back to the mainland, you come see us again.
That's right. Thanks for all you do, Brian, and all Tax Lien does. The whole group there, everybody's good. We send you emails, folks reply. Yeah. That means a lot to me. It is just the replying and giving you more confidence that way. So it's been great, and we look forward to the next year too. Yeah. Even have a happier video in a year.
Really appreciate.
Let's do it again.
Brett, he does a good job with the Deal Lab.
Brett's amazing.
And always popping there on the Discovery community every time there's question, like, oh, I like all this. I'm learning every time. I'm still. We have ways to go. Yeah. And every day is a learning process.
Well, I guess shout outs to Brett, to Nate, to Ben, all the people that you've interacted with. I don't know who I'm forgetting that you mentioned, but but anyways, it was great. Thank you both so much. Enjoy America Samoa. I think everybody's jealous.
We're here till October and then back to
Saipan. All right. Well, thank you both so much. Let's catch up. I'll see you on Discover.
Okay.
Huge thank you to Gary and Merle for waking up so early in the morning. I think they said it was 6:30 in the morning in American Samoa, just so they could have this conversation with us, so they could share their experience. I love hearing people from all across the United States. This was one of the very first opportunities that I've had to talk with somebody who was on the other side of the planet, who is investing in tax liens. If you came in this video thinking, can I do this because I live in the wrong state or the time zones don't match up? There's no excuse for you. Click follow, subscribe, pay attention, so much more to come.